Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. This morning for breakfast, we are going to make easy cream cheese Danish bites. Now, these are really easy to make. They're made with ingredients that you probably have already at home, except maybe the crescent roll dough, but everything else is something you should have in your refrigerator or in your pantry. Let's talk about what we're going to use this morning to make easy cream cheese crescent dough bites. First, we're going to start with crescent roll dough. Now, I'm using the Glaze crescent rolls because they're a little bit bigger. If you look at the end, you can see the size of them. Regular crescent rolls are much smaller. These just make a better cream cheese Danish. So we are using the Glaze, but you can use either one. Then we're going to use 8 ounces of cream cheese, and that has been softened to room temperature. You can microwave that for a few seconds if you need to, but I usually just take it out of the refrigerator and leave it lay on the counter for an hour or two, and it'll come to room temperature. We're going to add to the cream cheese 1/2 cup of just plain white granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of sour cream. Now that's going to make our cream cheese mixture to go in the crescent rolls. Then, when they come out of the oven and we let them cool for about 15 minutes, we will make a glaze to go over top of those. And that's made with 2 cups of powdered sugar. Some people call it confectioner sugar. Some people call it 10X sugar, but 2 cups of that, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 2 tablespoons of softened butter. That's just butter that's been left at room temperature. Now, I don't know about you, but we don't refrigerate our butter. Well, I mean, if we have lots of boxes, we'll put some in, but we always keep a stick or 2 sitting out at room temperature because it's just so much easier to spread and to use in recipes like this. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with 1 can of our crescent roll dough. I'm just going to open that up. We are not going to open the crescent rolls. I want you to see what we're doing here. We're not going to unroll them and roll them up like you normally would do for crescent rolls. Instead, we're going to leave them in a roll just like this. And we're going to slice them. Now, I have found that it's easier to do with a serrated edge knife. So we're just going to slice them like that into about, between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. Okay, let's say 1/2 inch slice. You just need to slice them right down through it. They are still perforated. You're not unrolling them. But don't worry about the perforations. Those aren't going to hurt anything. Let's see how many we get out of this. Let's get 3 more here. Now, let's see, that gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I normally get about 10 out of it, so I might have made those just a little thin, but that's okay. So, we will take those rolls, those circles that we cut, and put one at a time on a baking sheet that has been covered by parchment paper. Now you're going to need to use something to flatten these and make kind of a little indentation down in it. At home I have a small cup that I use, but we're not home. So I have to improvise, and I'm just going to use the bottom of a 1/4 cup measuring cup. And all you do is just set that on there and press down, just like that, and hope it comes off. I probably should have sprayed it with a little Pam. Now, you can see there how that's made a little indentation down in that crescent roll circle. And I am going to spray that because that will just help it release. Okay, so we'll take another one and we'll just make a dent right down in it. That's going to hold our cream cheese filling. Now, if you want, after you press that down, if you want to go back and just take your fingers and kind of press it so that I don't know if you can see this, Melissa.
I can.
You can see there how there are some cracks in there.
Yes.
So I'm just going to take my finger and kind of press down to make sure those are kind of sealed up, because you don't want your cream cheese filling to leak out the bottom of that while it's baking. So you can do that. Now, if you don't want to use a cup or the bottom of a measuring cup, you can just use your hand and just kind of press down with your thumb and make an indentation in it. You just want to make sure that you leave an edge around that so that will hold your cream cheese filling in. Okay, I've shown you how to do that. I'm going to press this together right here because that's wanting to come apart.
I think they all have a seam like that.
They do. And I'm just going to press them together. Okay. Now, let's make our cream cheese filling. We're going to take our cream cheese and add our 1/2 cup of sugar, and then 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. If you want to use fresh lemon juice, you can sure do that. But we had this for something. I don't even know what we had this for. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Something we made. Maybe it was for tea. I don't know. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Put that in. And then 1 teaspoon of sour cream. And you might think, well, what is 1 teaspoon of sour cream going to do? It just makes it really creamy and gives it a good flavor. So put that teaspoon of sour cream in there. If you don't have sour cream, it's not going to ruin the dish if you leave it out, but I would sure recommend putting it in. Now, we're just going to let that mix up. Make sure that sugar is incorporated into the cream cheese. Can you see down in there, Melissa? Make sure it's down in there good. Get that sugar dissolved. I would let it run, maybe 30 seconds or so. Just enough to make sure the cream cheese is smooth. You don't want any lumps of cream cheese in there. Make sure and if you don't have a scraper paddle for your mixer, you'll want to scrape the bowl down. Use a spatula to scrape the bowl down. But I have a scraper paddle, and so I don't have to scrape the sides of the bowl. Okay. So that is pretty well mixed. And we're just going to take a spoon and we will put a dollop of that cheese mixture. That's a little too much. Put that right in the middle and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. It doesn't take a lot because you're just making a mini cream cheese Danish. It just needs a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and slice the other can of rolls, crescent rolls, and flatten those out. We have already preheated our oven to 350 degrees. Once we have these all ready, they're filled and ready to go in the oven, it takes 15 to 20 minutes for those to bake. And then after they bake, we will take them out, let them cool, and then we'll make the glaze to go on top. So I'm going to finish getting these ready. We'll get them in the oven, and then we'll bring you back to see them. We'll be right back. Our cream cheese Danish bites are ready to take out of the oven. So let's turn the oven off and get those out of the oven and onto the counter. Okay. I think we ended up with, 20 or 21. And the reason I slide them off the tray, off the cookie sheet, is so they will stop baking. Now, a couple of these got just a little too done on the edge because They were more in the center of the oven, but they're all right. I'll eat those and it won't hurt a thing. Now, we have to let those cool for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Wouldn't hurt for them to cool even a little longer than that. Then we will come back and make our glaze to drizzle over top of those, and we'll be ready for breakfast. We'll be back as soon as they're cooled and ready to put the glaze on. Our cream cheese Danish bites are cooled and they're ready to glaze. So we're going to put the glaze together. We're going to start with our 2 cups of powdered sugar. Make sure we get all that out of there. We want it all. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Sorry about the noise. Okay, maybe I'll use my finger. And a couple of tablespoons of milk. You want the glaze to be thin enough that you can drizzle it over the cream cheese Danish bites, but you don't want it so thin that it just runs off. That's one reason that you have the room temperature butter. It kind of helps to thicken it, give it some substance. And if you find that it's too thick, you may want to add just a little more milk. It's easier to add milk than to take it out. And I believe we are going to have to add some to this. So, let's try 1 more tablespoon. That helped. It's still not quite thin enough, so I'm going to do part of another tablespoon. I may not put this whole tablespoon in. I'm going to do it a little at a time until I find out it's still not thin enough. Wow, this is much thicker than it normally is. It's getting there. It's going to take just another drop or 2. I'm not going to do a whole tablespoon this time. I'm just going to do part of a tablespoon. I'll put a couple drops in. That was about a half of a tablespoon. Let's see what we think here. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Now, it still has some lumps in it. I can see lumps, and I want to get all of this powdered sugar down off of here. Those are lumps of butter. So I've got to get those down in there so they can mix up. I'm going to turn it on high and let it run. Just have to make sure that sugar is dissolved well and that butter is broken up so there aren't any lumps in it. That looks pretty good, but it's not runny enough. Look how thick it is. See how it's just clumping up on there? So I'm going to put a little more. And this is just what you have to do. You start with a couple of tablespoons and add to it as you think you need it. I'm just going to put a few drops in at a time until I think it's the right consistency. Let's see what we think about that. That's still a little too thick. Here we go. I might use another whole tablespoon.
You're wanting to be able to pour it just right.
I want it to be able to run off the spoon as I drizzle it. I don't want it to come off in clumps, but I don't want it to be watery by any means. Let's see. Now that's getting closer. See how that's running off? It's still just a hair too thick for me. I'm going to put just a little bit more. You're going to have to do this same thing. 2 tablespoons may be plenty when you make it. I don't think I've ever made it and put this much milk in it. By the way, we used to, that's much better. We used to make this quite a bit because our kids love this for breakfast. It was something they just really enjoyed. And the nice thing about it was that it was something we could let them help us with. They always jumped right in and helped us make these. Usually, their job was to make the well down in the center of the cream cheese Danish. Well, let's see if I can get this to string off here. There we go. That's what you want right there. Their job was to make the well in the center of the cream cheese Danish, and then they always helped to make the cream cheese Danish filling with the cream cheese and those ingredients. And then they would help drizzle this on. Sometimes it came off in big clumps, and that was fine. It didn't hurt a thing. It's okay if it comes off in big clumps and you've got a big clump of icing. What's that going to hurt? Not a thing. Let's put some more right through here.
It's a nice glaze.
Well, it's thick enough that it's not going to run off, but it's thin enough that you can drizzle it. And you want a nice drizzle on there. These didn't get as much. I'm going to go back and put some more on them. They need more. Don't those look good?
They do.
Now, you could do it this way. If you wanted to take it and just sling it, see how I'm just shaking it? You can do that too. And that's fine. You can do it any way you want. I really do prefer just to drizzle it in a line. Put it over this way. And you can cover it as much as you want or as little as you want. That's up to you. Okay. There are our cream cheese Danishes. Now, here comes my favorite part. I get to do a taste test. So, I think I'm going to take this one right here. Yum, yum. Ready for a bite?
Sure.
I forgot to give you the first one. Sorry.
Go back.
My goodness. Those are delicious. No wonder our kids loved them.
I have a feeling our friends that are here with us are going to love them too this morning.
Yeah, they are. As soon as we finish this, we're going to put these out and have breakfast. These are delicious. And they're so easy. A couple of cans of crescent rolls. Make your cream cheese filling. Drizzle some glaze on it. It's pretty simple. Okay. We appreciate you being here for our video. I really hope you try these. They're really easy and they are so delicious. If you would, we would appreciate you going right below the video and giving us a thumbs up. Hit that share button and put this on your own social media page just to help us get the word out about our channel. And if you've not already, we really would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, the little notification bell beside of it, and the word all. That just subscribes you to our page. It's totally free. We like to say it gives you a seat at our table. Remember that right under the video where you see the title of this recipe, if you'll click in that box, click on that title, that box will expand. Melissa always puts the written recipe there for you, and our contact information is below the recipe. And we always want to remember to thank you for your kind comments. We get so many comments from those of you who are watching our videos, and we really do appreciate those. All right, make yourself some cream cheese Danish bites. They're delicious. Have a great day, and remember, you are always welcome to come sit at my table. See ya.